What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph? You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight... Okay, we're coming back to Band-Maid. Yes, indeed. Band-Maid Fans FEELIN YOU. Come on now. Here we go. This is a request from Dennis Myers, Aaron T. Rocks, Huyax01, The Certified Weirdo, Uli Schuster, Theron, Dana or Dana? D-A-N-N-A. Is that Dana or Dana? I'm not sure. My gut is saying Dana, so I'm going to go with that. Dana Aswin, T0, and Zabri Abu Bakar. They all want to see me react to this song by Band-Maid called Real Existence. And, by the way, this was the winner of the Premier Tier Patreon prioritization poll. It won 55% of the vote. So, it was sitting in the queue. Now, it was pretty up there, actually. It was getting close, but it was sitting at number 249. So, it gets bumped up to number 1. So, basically, you saved yourselves about 4.5 to 5 months worth of waiting. Basically. So, hey, that's fine. Look, it bumped up, and that's all good. So here we are now, ready to watch this and listen to it, of course. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, I have never heard the song before. This does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, aha, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was posted by Band-Maid, okay? And the video has 12.6 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. Alright, here we go. Band-Maid, Real Existence, official music video. Wah, wah, wah. There's that word official again. Gotta be careful with those official music videos, guys and gals, especially coming off their official channels. They do get blocked more often. Now, I'm not saying this is gonna get blocked. I'm just saying the possibilities of it getting blocked are higher because it's an official music video coming off of their official channel. So, please keep that in mind. Hopefully this won't get blocked. We'll see. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Okay, I gotta pause. Alright. I was into this song after the first 2 measures. I was already into it. The groove, the chords they're selecting, the key they're in, the groove, the feel, everything. I'm already into it. Already into it. They're in D, aren't they? Yeah, they're in D. I'm almost positive that's D. I love D. So. Yeah, they're in D. Okay, cool. So, yeah, they're in D, which I love. It's probably my favorite key. So I'm already into that. Just the groove on this, that feel on this is just infectious. Absolutely infectious. And what I really dig in more than anything is they're playing around with that feel. They started out with like a halftime feel, right? They had this like halftime intro. They go into a straight time feel, back to halftime, and then they shot up to double time just for like a measure or two, and then they brought it right back down to straight time again. I love it when bands play around with feel. I really do, because it shows that you can make the song sound more complex simply by doing something as simple as playing around with feel. They're not going any faster. It's a halftime feel. It's a straight time feel. It's a double time feel. They're not actually going to, they're not changing the tempo from 120 to 240. They're not actually doing that. All they're doing is they're changing the feel up. And that's really more up to the drummer than anyone else. So you got to give you got to give Akane all the credit in the world for that, because that's mostly her. That's like 95% her. Granted, guitar and bass following along, it happens. So, hold on. Konami, Misa. Yeah, come on. Miku. Yes. Those are the strings, right? Konami, Miku, and Misa. I'll get it. I will get it eventually. They follow along. Don't get me wrong, but listen. Here's how it works. Okay, if the drummer does it by herself, if Akane does it all by herself and the guitarists don't follow her, it's still gonna sound like double time, half time, straight time. On the flip side, if Konami, Miku, and Misa, if the three of them go straight time, double time, half time, back to straight time by themselves, and Akane doesn't go with them, it's not going to sound right. You're not going to notice any difference really. You'll hear the syncopation stuff in the guitar and bass, but it's the drums that are in charge of what? Feel. The drummer's whole job is to have the feel. Unless there's no bass player, then their job is also tempo. But I mean, tempo is really the bass player's job more than anyone else's. But that was fantastic. I love how they're playing with feel on this. Let's keep going. Let's see where this goes. Really nice. Great job. Coming out of the chorus, transitioning back into verse. Great way to cross that bridge. Good job, ladies. Chorus is catchy. I do believe the chorus is the hook. I can absolutely see the chorus being the hook there. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I mean, it sounds really good. I'm digging it. It's got a great feel, great pulse, great energy. I'm not really hearing anything I don't like. So we're going to keep going here. We're going to see where this goes. Extra measure. This would be a good place for a guitar solo, which is what I'm guessing is going to happen. It feels like this would be... Oh, look. Coming out of the second chorus, they get those sustained notes. It's not a bad way to set up a guitar solo at all, so we'll see what happens. It was really nice in the second verse. Don't think I didn't catch it. In the second verse, hearing Misa doing the melodic line. I don't know if I would call it the melodic line, but doing a harmonic line. Or, I don't know if it was a harmonic line. No, it was actually, it was probably a harmonic line, wasn't it? Because it wasn't following the root. It was going on the based on the fifth. So, okay, yeah, it was a harmonic line. Sure, we'll go with that. But hearing Misa way up on the neck, way up on the neck, playing that harmonic line above everything else, I almost missed it. But because it fit in so well. Like, it almost sounded like ghost notes at first. But then I was like, wait a minute, no, that's bass. That's bass. Never mind. No, that sounded really good. Nice touch. Nice to see her get a little time to shine. I mean, she gets a lot of little opportunities to shine, which I'm always appreciative of. I love it when bass players get that moment to have the spotlight, if you know what I mean. So, it's always good to hear that. So far, I mean, like I said, I'm not really hearing anything displeasing. I'm not hearing anything that sticks out like a sore thumb. Everything they're playing makes sense. It's all transitioning from one phase to the other really well, going from verse to chorus, back to verse, back to chorus. It's smooth, and it all makes sense. It all blends together really well, and I can definitely appreciate that. Okay. Guitar solo time. Let's see if I'm right about this guitar solo. Let's see if there is one. Watch, there isn't one. Watch. There we go. Bluesy with it. Did they add two? Wait a minute. They do add two. Okay, so they're adding 2 beats. Okay, not bad. I heard it a couple times. It kept throwing me off. I'm like, am I off on my counting? No, I'm not off on my counting. I'm hearing it right. It is 2. Okay. Guitar solo, very well done. Very well done. I dug it. I like the transitioning into style in the guitar solo. You know, she started off really shreddy, transitioned to more of a bluesy feel. Back to shreddy, back to more of a bluesy feel. Shows diversity in her playing. She's not a one-trick pony. She's showing it off right here that, hey, I can do more than just shred. Check this out. Or I can do more than just, bar chords. Check this out. I can do more than just slide. Check this out. So, she's doing a lot of different styles, a lot of different things within her solo. Now, a lot of people will say she should just take one thing and stick to it for one solo.
I respectfully disagree.
I love it when people who are soloing are able to diversify and they're able to show off more than just one style. I personally like that. I know there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of purists out there who say, if she's going to be a shredder, she should stick to shredding. Why? Why do that when you can do anything? If you can do more than one thing, why not show it off, Maybe, there's the argument that, maybe on this song she should just stay shreddy. On the next song, she can get, bluesy or whatever. I mean, there is that argument to be made, and I do see the argument, I do see the point, but I personally like it when, you know, people are able to diversify within a single solo. I dig it. I think it makes the solo more interesting, honestly. So, don't get me wrong, I'm all in favor of a good shred fest. I am, but at the same time, you know, if you could do more than just shred, why not show it off? You know, and keep the crowd vested and keep the crowd interested. Otherwise, if all you're doing is shred, well, that's great. But after a while, you're going to start to lose the crowd. So, anyway, let's finish this off and we'll get to the review. Good layout. Double time field. Ending on straight. Yeah. Oh, this was fun. This was a good time. Let me think about it. Let me gather my thoughts, and I'll see you in the review. We'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Band-Maid with a tune called Real Existence. This was a request from Dennis Myers, Aaron T. Rocks, Huyax01, The Certified Weirdo, Uli Schuster, Faron, Dana Aswin, T0, and Zabri Abu Bakar. And this won the Premier Tier Patreon Request Prioritization Poll with 55% of the vote, taking it from number 249 in the queue straight to number 1. So, yeah, I love that voting, man. Voting's awesome, isn't it? We live in a democracy. It's pretty cool. I love it. Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give that a 9.1. Yep, 9.1. I feel great about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, this song, more than anything, this song for me was all about feel. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Let's get to the rest of the stuff first, though. Let's talk about songwriting. Now, we'll get to feeling a little bit, but let's talk about the chordal structure of the song, okay? Chordally, not that difficult. It really isn't. It's a pretty simple song. But, like I've always said, simple can be effective when it's done properly. And this was definitely done properly. Starting off, we're in D, which is awesome. The transitioning within the D structure throughout the verses and into the chorus. Well, actually, before that, we had the pre-chorus. They did have a pre-chorus. It took me a little while to figure that out, but they actually did have a pre-chorus, and it just built and then flowed very nicely into the chorus, very smoothly, smooth as glass. Honestly, I mean, it was so easy to follow along. It required like no effort at all. Honestly, it was really, really nice. It was a great chordal structure. Performance-wise, let's talk about the musicians here. So, I know I didn't talk about Psyche at all in the vocals. I know I didn't. It's studio. You know, hearing her singing live is always far more impressive than studio, because studio, you could always have multiple takes. You know, if you didn't get it right, you could try again, or you could just use Pro Tools to fix it. You know, it's pretty simple. So, You know, when you're talking about singing in pitch, singing on key in studio, it's not the same thing as singing live. It's far more impressive when it's done live. But what I did hear from Psyche on this vocally, it sounded really good. It sounded really, everything she did fit perfectly. Nothing went too out of place. Nothing went too high. Nothing sounded, you know, how should I say this? Everything that she sang fit. How about that? Okay, everything that she sang fit the context of the song. It never once sounded out of place. It never sounded like she was trying to steal the spotlight. She was really very much a team player on this song. So that's really cool. Misa on bass. I love that second verse, man, where she actually got that harmonic line going up high over vocals, which was interesting because what I'm really glad they did not do. I'm glad, and I know this is going to sound weird coming from me, I'm glad they didn't make her the spotlight. I'm glad they didn't put her up too high in the mix. I'm glad we could barely hear her. And I know you're probably thinking, aren't you a bass player? Yes, I'm a bass player, but I'm a musician first and foremost. And if they had pushed Misa up in the mix, if they had, let's say, I don't want to say bury Psyche, but let's say she took over the spotlight, well then why even bother having Psyche sing at that point? It doesn't make sense. Not if Misa's going to come along and steal the show with what she's playing. And she could very easily have. What she was playing sounded really good. I mean, I was digging it. I was absolutely digging that line. But having said that, I'm glad they kept her back in the mix. Otherwise, it would have taken over, and at that point, Psyche singing would have been a complete and utter waste. So I'm glad they did the way they did. Guitar players, Miku and Konami. Very nice job. Very nice job on both of their parts. They did an outstanding job playing their parts. Everything sounded right. I like that chunky guitar tone from both of them. Not muddy, not overly distorted, not to the point where you can't hear it, but a good amount of bite and a good amount of crunch to it nonetheless. What really impressed me about the song more than anything, and this is where Akane comes into play. The feel changes on this song were phenomenal. Everything made sense. Everything made sense. Every single time they would change feel, whether it be straight time to halftime, or halftime to straight time, or halftime to double time, back to straight time, whatever the case may be, everything made sense. Everything felt good. There was not one time in the entire song where they would change feel and I was going, why? Why did they do that? Not one time. Everything they did made perfect sense, and I can absolutely appreciate that. And that really comes down to Akane more than anyone else. I mean, like I said, if Akane were to do all of those changes by herself and the guitars and bass just played through it and didn't change with her, it would be okay because you would still feel the change in feel. On the flip side, let's say Akane just played straight through it, guitars and bass just, yeah, they did the feel changes. You wouldn't even notice because the drummer didn't do it. Akane didn't do it. So it really, when I say the feel comes from the drummer, this is a great example of what I'm talking about. The drummer is absolutely 100% responsible for it. Now, luckily, Konami, Miku, and Misa followed along and made it sound super tight because they did play in unison. So it made a lot more sense. It felt even better with them playing those syncopated parts with her. So I'm really glad they did that. Those subdivisions were fantastic too. There were a couple of spots where they all laid out and let vocal carry. Very strategically done. And what I really liked about it is that they didn't overdo it. It's very easy to fall into a trap of, and this is where we go back to the one-trick pony thing. It's very easy if you do one layout and you go, oh, that sounded really good, let's do that some more. And the next thing you knew it, you're doing it on every single verse, or every single transition, or every single pre-chorus, or you're doing it to end every single chorus, or whatever. And then it becomes mundane. It becomes really stale, really boring, and overly done. And it's like, well, Okay, yeah, okay, that's the 5th time you've all laid out now, or that's the 10th time you've all laid out now. Okay, we get it. You all know how to lay out. That's great. You know, but they didn't do that here. They only did it like 2 or 3 times, and it sounded really good the way they did it. No, I was really impressed with this. More than anything, it was their playing with feel that really kind of blew my mind, because there were a couple of spots where they changed up feel and I wasn't expecting it. But when they did it, I was like, I'm glad they did it because it made sense. I didn't see it coming, but just because I didn't see it coming doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. You know, I thought they were just going to play straight through on the straight time. Instead, they switched up to a double time. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then they went, it's just as fast as they switched into double time, they went right back to straight time again. I was like, okay. Or they went from double time to halftime back to straight time. And I know that sounds like a lot, but the way they spaced it out, it made sense. Like they would do the double time for 2 measures, go at the halftime for 4, and then back to the straight time for 4. So it wasn't like so quickly transitioned that you didn't have a chance to settle in, you know? Except for the double time feel. But with the double time feel, you don't really need a whole lot of time to settle into it, because you want to keep them on the edge of their seats, right? Before you transition back. And then, of course, there, you want to take some extra time when you do transition out of the double time, whether it be straight time or halftime. Now you want to spend a little time on it to get you back into the groove. So, no, it was very smart, very intelligent songwriting, very well done. And that's why it's getting 9.1. So, 9.1, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you did enjoy the show, and you would like to see more videos like this, feel free to join the fan base by clicking on that button down there. Yeah, you know the button I'm talking about. Click on that button, join the fan base, and become one of us. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't feel like clicking on that button, that's okay. I still respect you. Also, if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up. It'll do me a world of good, and it will do you absolutely no harm whatsoever. Finally, if you guys do join the fan base, you will find a bell down there that you can click on. By clicking on that bell, it'll keep you up to date on everything happening with this channel, including when new content gets dropped. So, if you want to stay in the know, click on the bell, and you'll stay in the know. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Until next time, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.